Oh, man, Lucy, you just opened that show with a meow. That's impressive. Good job. We're back. I am not used to being up this early for... Actually, I am, but I was on the road last week, so I would just get up early and get into a car. Grandma Wood and I had an unusual weekday run. What's up, Karen? You're first. Welcome back. I missed you. I missed all you guys. What's up, Statutory? What's up, Samuel? I missed you guys dearly. Are you coming to Austin with Jimmy and May? Don't know, but I will be in Austin for sure on April 15th with Graham Elwood for the Progressive Comedy Tour. Tickets are available now, so I hope I see you there, Samuel. What's up, Speaking Truth? What's up, Dan? What's up, Doug? What's up, Nathaniel? What's up, Frederick? What's up, Ink? What's up, Joshua? Mystic Warrior, what's up, buddy? Lucy, what's up? Howdy, Alex. What's up, Winkle? What's up, Andrew? What's up, Jay? We're going to be talking about Dick Dale. Yes. Yes, Samuel, I am coming in April. Tickets are available at romplacone.com. Please do check it out. We're going to be in the Velveeta Room on April 15th. Great White Shark. Your screen name's awesome, first of all. Great White Shark. Music Monday News. Got my Tool tickets. That's awesome. I didn't know Tool was touring. I have been to that guy's winery. I'm not a crazy familiar with Tool guy, but what's up, Chris? All right, guys. We are over 30 already. You guys were ready to come back, which is awesome. I was ready to come back. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys send me ideas. You send me what we want to talk about. That's how we build this show. I'm seeing everything for the first time, especially today, because last week I was on the road. Graham Elwood and I were on the road for the Progressive Comedy Tour. We usually do weekends and only a weekday or two, but we had a little bit of an unusual routing this month, and we did mostly weekdays. We did Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi. We did Pensacola, Florida. We did Lafayette, Louisiana, and we did New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to everybody who came out to those shows. It was awesome to meet some of you guys in person, and we had an amazing time. Thank you so much to everybody who came out to those shows. There are more Progressive Comedy Tour shows coming up with Graham Elwood and myself. Coming up in April, we're going to be in Texas, April 12th through 15th. We're going to be in Fort Worth. We're going to be in Houston. We're going to be in San Antonio, and we're going to be in Austin. May, Salt Lake City, Boise. June, East Coast. East Coast, baby, in June. DC, Baltimore, Philly for 2 nights. New York City, Boston, New Haven, Connecticut. All those tickets are available at romplacone.com, and that's with Graham Elwood, the political vigilante. We do a little stand-up tour, and May 1st, I'm going to be solo, but May 1st, I'm going to be in Indianapolis, and of course, I got a bunch of LA happenings. You guys know the drill there. So, this is interesting. In Mississippi, Graham and I played this tiny little rock club in Oxford, Mississippi, which is a college town where Ole Miss is, and I was really impressed by all the bands and artists that had played at this club. It's this small little rock club in Mississippi, but the guy that runs it does a really good job at catching people at the right time. So Wilco has played at this place. Jillian Welch has played at this place. The Hold Steady. I believe Jeff Buckley was up on that wall. Elvis Costello, which was crazy random. Elvis Costello played at this tiny rock club in Mississippi. And the reason I bring this up... Also, quick side note from Music Monday before we continue. Side note from Music Monday. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I hope everyone had a good one, if that's your thing. I had a really good one because St. Patrick's Day is also my fiance's birthday. So we had a really fun night. We did a lot of... we went out with a big group of friends to a couple different spots. It was a very fun evening. I'm actually not hungover. I paced myself well. I I can't speak for her, but I am not hungover. And she turned younger than me. That's how old she is, younger than me. And so side note for St. Patrick's Day, if you want one of my favorite St. Patrick's Day songs, David Rovics, a guy you've heard me talk about before. He's an anarchist folk artist out of Portland, Oregon. David Rovics has a song called the St. Patrick's Battalion. And it's about Irish settlers, and it's true, it's history. Irish settlers that came over to the United States and thought it was their duty to fight in the United States war against Mexico. And they went over there and they saw what the U.S. was doing, and they realized that what the U.S. was doing to Mexico was not okay, and that they were on the wrong side of things. So they formed the St. Patrick's Battalion, and they fought for Mexico. And he tells the story via song, and it's a very powerful song. So again, look up the song St. Patrick's Battalion by David Rovics. That's spelled R-O-V-I-C-S. You can find this song on YouTube, and check it out. But getting back to my experience in Mississippi, I was impressed by all the bands on the walls, all the artists on the walls. I even took a couple pictures, posted it on the Insta, because I get kind of excited whenever I see, like, whenever we play rock clubs. You know, when you're a comedian, you don't usually get to play rock clubs right away, because usually you're just playing comedy clubs because you're an opening act. And then once you start to, you know, kind of develop a little bit of a following on your own, then you can play other types of venues. So now, Graham Elwood and myself, we do the Progressive Comedy Tour. We're, you know, trying to reach listeners of the show and stuff like that. So we are more likely to play a rock club or something like that than a comedy club, because we're not coming into comedy clubs for full weekends. We're usually hitting one market a night. So we do a lot of rock clubs. So it's exciting for me now to see, to be playing venues where some of my favorite bands have also played. That's sort of a neat little thing for me. So I was excited, and I was taking some of the pictures. The reason I bring this up is because when we went to the green room, who was displayed in that green room? None other than Dick Dale. Dick Dale, for those of you who don't know, and I'll admit I'm not crazy familiar or fluent with Dick Dale. There's a lot of people that know a lot more about him than me. But I do know that Dick Dale, I know the obvious, he is the surf rock guitarist. He was the surf rock guy. He passed away 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, it was on the 16th, so it was 2 days ago. And Dick Dale was in that green room. Graham Elwood and I actually made a video about it, and I pointed out that Dick Dale was there, and several days later, Dick Dale passed away. But here's something interesting about Dick Dale that makes this a very interesting Music Monday topic. I have to perform to save my life. Medical bills kept rock legend Dick Dale touring till the end. Now, I'm learning a bunch of this stuff for the first time. So let's see what this is all about. It was the mid-1960s, and Rapid Fire Sounds Dick Dale was pulling out his gold-painted Fender Stratocaster. It was the mid-60s, and the Rapid Fire Sounds Dick Dale was pulling out of his gold-painted Fender Stratocaster had already reshaped popular music. In the space of a few short years, the Boston-born Southern California transplant had merged the laid-back, sun-blasted lifestyle of the surf scene with a blistering rhythm of rockabilly and early rock and roll, as the mad scientist behind what was dubbed Surf Rock Dale was, in the words of 1963 Life magazine profile, a thumping teenage idol who was part evangelist, part Pied Piper, and all success. The music Dale and his band, the Deltones, made poured out of radio, soundtrack popular beach movies. All right. So he was the king of the surf guitar. I once made $1 million a year with my career. I made 10 grand for 3 minutes of work on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1963. This is Dick Dale talking. But Dick Dale's time in the spotlight came to a sudden end in 1965. That year, when he was only 28, he was diagnosed with rectal cancer. Admittedly, I did not know this. As the Times magazine reported, doctors told the guitarist he could be dead in a matter of months. He survived, but the cancer bout whittled Dale from 158 to 98 pounds. Wow. And it drained his bank account. He moved to Hawaii, and he stayed away from music for a number of years. Dale passed away on Saturday night. His longtime drummer, Dusty Watson, confirmed. He was 81 years old. No cause of death has been released. Tributes have begun popping up online. Many are celebrating his distinctive sound. But the musician's life story was also a constant struggle against health problems and to pay medical bills. After his first cancer diagnosis in 1965, he continued to battle the disease. So he toured to fund his treatment. I can't stop touring because I will die. Physically and literally, I will die. This is Dick Dale talking. And he said this to the Pittsburgh City paper in 2015. I'd love to stay home and build ships in a bottle and spend time with my wife in Hawaii, but I have to perform. Wow. So after his near-death cancer experience in the mid-1960s, he reinvented himself as a club owner in Southern California. But bad business decisions and a divorce eventually pulled his lifestyle out from under him. He was evicted from his dream house in 1986. The next year when he recorded a version of Pipeline with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Oh, wow. Check this out. So the next year, so this would have been 1987, he recorded a version of Pipeline with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that earned a Grammy nomination. He was living in an RV parked in his parents' driveway. Dale's career got an unexpected boost in '94 when director Quentin Tarantino used Miserlou in the opening credits of Pulp Fiction. But health problems continue. 20 years after his first diagnosis, the rectal cancer returned, and the second bout left him without parts of his stomach and intestines, and he was outfitted with a colostomy bag. And he would not let it bring him down. So this article cites a moment in Vegas when his colostomy bag began leaking. And I saw stuff on Twitter that other people were reporting stories like that. Other people were reporting stuff like, yeah, I saw Dick Dale, his colostomy bag broke. He just washed himself off and continued with the show. He didn't give a shit. He's like, I'm gonna wash this shit off, and I'm gonna continue with the show. So I had no idea. I always just knew the very obvious about Dick Dale. He was the surf rock guitar dude. He's the king of surf rock. That's what I knew about him. That's what most people know about him. And he's one of those guys you have a lot of respect for and reverence for. But, you know, unless you really seek that stuff out, you're just kind of like, oh, yeah. I never saw Dick Dale live. And I didn't know any of this about him. I didn't know about his health issues. I didn't know about him living in an RV. I didn't know about any of this. And it's just amazing how chronic health issues can bankrupt even somebody as successful as him. In the richest country in the world, in the United States. This is why we need universal health care. We need a single payer, universal system. And this is why just beating around the bush with that or supporting something where some more people get health care, but not everybody, it's not enough. And it's a scam, and it's a giveaway to the insurance industry, and the insurance industry needs to go away. They cannot have a seat at the table. And any politician who says they can have a seat at the table is A, lying, and B, placating to the donors in the insurance industry and not the citizens. This isn't some purity test. This is affirming the necessary solution to the catastrophic problem that is our healthcare crisis. And again, there's nothing pragmatic about an incremental solution to a catastrophic problem. Hey, we're going to maybe get the public option back. No, we're going to have a Medicare for all single-payer system. Pretty much every other industrialized nation in the world has this. And it works. And the ones that do actually have private insurance, like Switzerland, they pay the type of money we pay. They pay twice as much as everywhere else. And in Switzerland, there's a lot more oversight. That's why they don't rank as low as we do. They still rank lower than places like France and Italy. But they don't rank as low as us because they do have more oversight as to what these private insurance industry companies can get away with. So the solution is not keeping them at the table. They have to go away. Any politician that tells you otherwise is lying to you, is catering to the insurance companies and not the voters, and does not deserve your vote. And Dick Dale, rest in power, man. All right. So, Donna Brazile is joining Fox News. Check this out. Here's her letter. Donna Brazile, why I am excited to join Fox News and take part in a civil and sensible debate. Because that's all we really want. We just want rich people to tell us how we should feel, and we want them to tell us civilly. That's what our corporate media is. You realize that, right? Our corporate media, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, it's all just a bunch of people who the system has worked for, telling everybody else how the system works for everybody. That's what it is. It's just a bunch of rich, privileged people. The system has worked for them because they are the haves, and the haves tell the have-nots why the system's fine. Hey, look around you, have-not. You see a bunch of people going bankrupt because of medical bills. You see a bunch of families not able to afford to send their kids to college. You see people struggling to make rent. You see people working 2 and 3 jobs. Here's how the system works for everybody. Take it from me, somebody the system has worked for. That's our corporate media. That, in a nutshell, is our corporate media. And now Donna Brazile is going to Fox News, and they're going to have nice civil debates about nothing. About how the system works for everybody, except it doesn't. So I guess let's look at her letter. I am excited by the opportunity to share my perspective and views with the Fox News audience and to help shape the dialogue at this important juncture in our history. More importantly, I'm eager to get my paycheck. Those weren't her words, but they should be. The 2020 presidential election is a consequential moment in American democracy. Everything we believe in as Americans will be examined and, in essence, ratified by our votes. But it concerns me, as it does the majority of good Americans, that our national debate has become hostile and disrespectful. We no longer simply agree to disagree. Too often, wow, okay. I mean, what is she saying here? I like how we have so many ridiculous problems in this country, and then you have people like Donna Brazile that want to just be like, oh, we just need to talk nicer. We just need to have a bipartisan marketplace of ideas. When people, go poll people and ask them what their problems are. Go ask them hey, I want a living wage. I want to be able to go to the doctor. How many people are going to be like, I wish people talk nicer on cable news? Newsflash, a lot of people ain't watching cable news. Most people ain't watching cable news. They inflate those numbers because they have it on in big areas. They have it on in hotels. The average Fox News viewer is 72 years old. Because a lot of these viewers don't realize there are choices. And I'm not saying that all older people don't engage with new media. I know a ton do. A ton do. But generally speaking, the older populations are more likely to watch cable news. Because generally speaking, some members of that population might not be as into YouTube or something like that. And again, I know that that's generally. I know a lot of people in that age category are. You don't need to leave a comment below or you need to tell me your age and that. I know that. I know that. All right, let's see what else she's saying here. Will I agree with my fellow commentators at Fox News? Probably not, but I will listen. Will I question some of their assertions about hardworking Americans, low-income people, and issues like climate change? Absolutely. But I will do so with civility and respect. That's what we need. So when they say climate change isn't real, she's going to respectfully say, I think it is real. What a fuck of a news report. What a news report. Hey, climate change is just alarmism. I respectfully disagree. This is the news. Well, I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. Peer-reviewed science, let's not look at that. What's important here is that we respectfully debated the issue. I don't think it's a thing. I think it is a thing, but I respect your opinion. This is news in the United States. This is somehow news. But, as long as she does it with civility and respect, I feel a lot better. I will question some of their assertions about hardworking Americans. So when they say that Americans don't work hard, and that's the only problem, when they say, like, oh, people are just lazy. People across the country working 2 and 3 jobs to survive, they're lazy. They're so lazy. Donna Brazil will respectfully say, oh, I don't think that's the case. I don't think... Let's sit in our ivory towers and ponder how people are surviving and what their intentions are or aren't. Again, this is news. This is considered news in the United States of America because we don't have a news structure. Like we just don't. Like whenever I used to say our media structure is toxic, I've evolved on that. Now I say it's toxic that we don't have a media structure. Like we just don't. We don't have one. You look at the index of press freedom, where, by the way, we're barely in the top 50. By the way, when it comes to press freedom, we're barely in the top 50. So whenever somebody, the United States, we don't have a media structure, and sure, corporations can just buy the media and control it, but at least we don't have state-run media. Yeah, we're below most of those places when it comes to press freedom. We rank lower because the government just kind of writes a check. Not in all cases, but in many cases, that's what happens. We rank lower than a lot of structures that actually have, like the BBC. We rank lower than England. We rank lower than Canada. And I believe Norway is the country that has some of the best press freedom. And what they do is they have a governmental overseen organization that oversees the media, and they assure protection for journalists. They assure they have a lot of anti-consolidation laws. So it's not like one company can own all the press. There are very heavy protections on how much media one company can own. And there are very thorough transparency laws. You need to tell everybody where your funding comes from. And that information needs to be available to readers all the time. So they protect journalists, they protect consumers of news, and they protect the available airwaves. That's what they do over there. And this is a governmental agency overseeing this. They have the best press freedom in the world. So, and here, because we don't have any of that, we have none of that here, this is what we get. This is what we get. Donna Brazil, who, by the way, what is Donna Brazil famous for? Cheating in a debate. That's what Donna Brazil's famous for. She's going to civilly debate whether or not climate change is a thing with other disillusioned rich people at Fox News. This is news. This is news. So here at Get Your News On with Ron, we get our news on, and sometimes we fantasize about news being a real thing. And it is, don't get me wrong. There are, there's a lot of great journalism going on in the United States. You really got to dig, though. You really got to dig. It ain't on the front page in most cases. All right, so Donna Brazile is going to join Fox News. Could you hear the excitement in my voice? All right. Let's go over to Beto O'Rourke. So Beto O'Rourke raised a massive $6.1 million his first day in the 2020 race. This is according to the campaign. There he is. What do you think he's thinking in that picture? What do you think? I think he's saying, does this shirt look good on me? How's my denim look? Did you guys see that picture of him in that magazine where that dog didn't want to be with him? Did you guys see that? There's that picture that dog's with him, and the dog just looks like even the dog's not convinced by this guy. Animals, they get it. They have an instinct. I really do believe that, by the way. I think that dogs in particular, they sense sincerity. I think they can tell the difference between somebody who's just sort of like, you're cute, huh? And somebody who genuinely is a warm, loves animals and just sort of has a nurturing vibe about them. I think animals can sense that stuff. And when that's not the case, they can sense that too. Dogs and cats. Because I feel like I've seen it firsthand. And what I'm saying is animals fucking love me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you look at that picture, that dog is not having Beto. And I think it's because dogs, they're like, this guy's a bullshitter. This guy's a bullshitter. That dog is feeling the fucking burn. All right, so anyway, let's get to this article about this $6.1 million that they won't tell us where it all came from. They won't tell us that. They choose not to. Beto O'Rourke chooses not to do that. He said, I choose not to, which is the same response I have when someone asks me, are you going to vote for Beto O'Rourke in this primary? I choose not to. No. All right, so there's his dumb face. And here's the so Beto O'Rourke raised $6.1 million in the first 24 hours of his presidential campaign, according to his campaign. This amounts the largest announced first day haul of any 2020 Democratic contender to date. This is more than the $5.1 million one day that Bernie Sanders had. And Kamala Harris had a whopping 1.5. I know it's crazy, that commercial that she made with the Casio keyboard from 1995, where it was just a word salad that had no ideas whatsoever. Which, by the way, Beto also had a word salad with no ideas whatsoever. But he was a little more innovative. Instead of using a Casio keyboard from 1995, he jumped up on a bar table and yelled about nothing for a while in what looked like a Willy Wonka costume. Anyway, let's get back to this dumb article. So the first day total shows O'Rourke has the potential. Yeah. All right. In just 24 hours, this is according to Beto. In just 24 hours, Americans across the country came together to prove that it is possible to run a true grassroots campaign for president. He's not referring to Bernie's first day. He's referring to his. A campaign by all of us, for all of us, that answers not to the PACs, corporations, and special interests, but to the people, O'Rourke said in a statement announcing the total. Reports have neither confirmed nor denied whether or not O'Rourke had his fingers behind his back like this when he said all that. He should have. He's received tons of money from the fossil and fuel industry. Tons of it. And he's not disclosing where all this came from. He says it's not for PACs and corporations. He says that. But a lot of the candidates backpedal on that all the time. And again, I stand by my prediction. You know, they're going to say they're not taking PAC money because that's the trend right now. You know, Kamala Harris says that. Cory Booker's said that in the past. Beto O'Rourke's saying that. Elizabeth Warren's saying that. If a centrist becomes the nominee, they're going to start taking it again because they're going to say, but Trump. That's what I predict will happen. That's my guess. They're going to say, hey, but Trump, we can't bring a knife to a gunfight or whatever it is. And they're going to start taking PAC money again. That's my prediction. There's already been some grumblings that that's going to be the case. And that's what I see happening. If a centrist becomes the nominee, centrist, I should call it what it is. You know what? Let me correct myself. If a conservative becomes the nominee, they're going to be like, but Trump, and start taking PAC money again. And they're going to report to the donors. And they'll probably lose to Trump. Because last time a conservative ran against Trump, Trump won. So, all right, let's get back to this. He began his campaign with big promises. What were those promises? He didn't promise. He talked about nothing. All right, okay, so here's this quote. They asked him about his fundraising, and he says, I can't talk about that right now. Now, a reporter responded that O'Rourke could share his fundraising totals if he wanted to. You're right. I choose not to. So he did so with the pledge not to accept money from political action committees, which O'Rourke carried over to his presidential campaign. The approach is unusual. Many other Democratic presidential contenders have sworn off money from corporate PACs, but accept money from those friendlier to Democratic interests like labor unions. Well, here's something. This guy's been anti-labor his entire career. So maybe labor unions aren't necessarily banging down his door. I'm sure in Texas they had his back over Ted Cruz. I mean, I'm sure they had his back in Texas over Ted Cruz, but... All right, so here's Beto O'Rourke talking more. If we have a strong showing on our first day, people will see it as a sign, blah, blah, blah. That's nice. Beto has also quickly returned to a habit that made him a viral hit in Texas. You know what made him a viral hit in Texas? What made him a viral hit in Texas is he wasn't Ted Cruz. He wasn't Ted Cruz. He had a shot at beating Ted Cruz. He's a likable guy. He speaks well. He speaks about nothing, but he speaks well. It's a convincing talking about nothing. Like, you want to like that. You want to be like, when he was standing up on that bar table, getting excited, waving his hands, doing his impression of Bernie. He was waving. Someone told him, like, wave your hands. Bernie does that. That's why people like him. No, people like Bernie because Bernie has ideas. No, it's because of the hand waving. I took a poll. I did a market research study. So Beto's like, okay, I'll wave my hands. He looked like he was conducting an orchestra. They were supposed to be playing the Star Spangled Banner, but they didn't show up. But he looked like, he's just like, here, I'm waving. This is how Bernie would look if Bernie didn't give a shit. If Bernie didn't actually care about what he was saying, this is what he would look like. Democracy. Our democracy needs to work. Innovation, creativity. 320 million strong. Derp. Nothing platitude. If you didn't catch the Beto O'Rourke speech, I just summarized it for you. And he literally had the same amount of information that I just gave you. So that was Beto's ridiculous speech. But his viral moment was he wasn't Ted Cruz. He would have been better than Ted Cruz. And guess what? He couldn't beat Ted Cruz. All right, so let's go to the zone. But Ron, it was Texas. It's Ted Cruz. All right, so Beto began his campaign with a series of smaller events and coffee shops. Were they hipster coffee shops? That's my big question. Were they hipster coffee shops? All right, and then he went into Wisconsin. Small group is operating in El Paso, where he's, all right. He has not yet hired a campaign manager. I'd like to think it's because no one wants that stupid gig. All right, so there you go. So, according to his campaign, Beto raised a lot of money. So, if you're a Beto O'Rourke supporter, he doesn't need any more. He's good. So, don't give to that campaign. He had an amazing first day. Let's just let it. He's good. Beto's set. I'm curious to see where all this money came from. I know he set a pledge. He set a pledge, but he also received more oil and gas money than even a lot of Republicans over his career. So where's all that money coming from? It's a question that we don't know the answer to. But, and I think a lot of people still think this guy is the real deal. Why? Because he talks nice. He has done cool things. He was a skateboarder. He played punk rock music. I think a lot of people still think he really is a grassroots phenomenon, but he isn't. He's voted with Republicans the majority of the time. He wanted to fast-track the TPP. He's always been pro-Wall Street. He's been anti-union his entire career. He is not for single-payer health care. And he couldn't beat Ted Cruz. So this guy is not the real deal at all. He's the DNC's plan B, Beto. Because a lot of people aren't responding positively to Kamala Harris, so they're on to their plan B, which is Beto O'Rourke. All right. But we'll see where that money came from. Apparently he raised a lot of it. So this is something interesting over in Jersey. They put out this article in New Jersey that I think is really useful for the rest of the country too. The gap between the rich and poor in New Jersey keeps getting bigger, and you can see how bad it is in your town. This is from New Jersey, NJ.com, short for New Jersey. I said that like it was an enlightening insight. NJ is short for New Jersey. Guys, get a load of this. All right. New Jersey is becoming a more unequal place to live. Over the past 5 years, the gap between the rich and the poor has widened. State now ranks in the top 10 in the nation for income inequality. So check this out. You can check out income inequality by state, and you can see how bad it is. So the closer you are to 0, it's more equal, and the closer you are to 1, it is less equal. So check this out. New York, 0.51. It's one of that might be the highest. California, 0.49. So that's how wide the gap is between the rich and the poor. Here's an interesting one. Wyoming is relatively low. They're 0.43. Keep in mind, all of these are not great. All of these are not good. But what's interesting about Wyoming to me is Wyoming, of course, is home to Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole, Wyoming is the richest town in the country because it is the home to the Walmart family. It is the home to Harrison Ford. It is the home to Dick Cheney. It is a place notorious for rich people to go when they kind of want to just get away from, whatever. And I guess they're okay with, living in a place that doesn't have a lot around. They want that. They want the land and the quiet, and Jackson Hole is a very, very beautiful place, like the hills and the mountains, and it's great for skiing. And it is a very beautiful place. I've been there. Me personally, I would go nuts if I lived in a place like that because I would need more culture around me. I would just go nuts. No, if that's your thing, that's great. I know some people love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just me personally. I prefer cities and more, urban areas. I like to, when I live in a place, I want to be able to look at the concert list. That's basically what I want to be able to see who is coming to my town and when. And whenever some of my favorite bands are touring, I want to know there's a good chance they're coming to my town. That's one of the things I need when I live in a place. And I know some people, they're like, I love to live in the middle of nowhere. I love to be able to go outside and take a leak. I get that. Nothing wrong with that. That's totally cool. But, just not my cup of tea. That'll be a topic for one of these days. We'll be like, hey, do you live in a rural place or an urban place? Why? What do you prefer? That'd be a fun conversation. And there are no right or wrong answers, nor is anybody better than anyone else. It's just personal preference, and some of it probably has to do with how you grew up. And wow, I'm really over-explaining this. All right, let's go back to the article. All right, so that's why Wyoming, it's interesting to me why Wyoming is a little lower, because it's like they have Jackson Hole, but I guess when you like, you know, crunch the data for like the entire state, it's a little lower. Utah is also a little lower. And then Iowa is doing okay. Wisconsin, Indiana, Florida, 0.49. So Florida and California are the same. That's interesting. And Louisiana, 0.49. Texas, a little lower, 0.48. So it's interesting how this breaks down. I mean, I would expect California to be higher than Louisiana, for instance. But, I mean, you look at a state like Louisiana, there are some very poor parts in that state, and then there's also New Orleans and some other, you know, kind of college-y type towns, you know, like Lafayette. Shout out to everyone who came to Lafayette. I had a lot of fun in the Gulf, you guys. So I can see how they might have a wider gap overall when you crunch this statistics. But yeah, this website was shared on our Reddit, on the Get Your News On With Ron Reddit, which is just reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. And you can check out the rich and poor gaps. So let's see a little more about the explanation here. So 0 would mean everybody has the same amount of wealth. Alaska came closest to that mark. Its score was almost 0.42. Conversely, a 1 would mean that all the income belonged to one person or a small group of people. Some of New Jersey's neighborhood came closer to the end of that spectrum, and New York nabbed the top spot overall. So there you go. All right. Last story for today, then I'm going to go to you guys, see what you're saying in the chat. And this is a net neutrality story. Now, my buddy Mikey Figueredo at the Humanist Report already covered this. He beat me to it. We're both big net neutrality advocates, both big municipal broadband advocates. He beat me to this one, but in fairness, I didn't do any shows last week. All right, Mikey, if you're watching, I didn't do any shows last week. I was on the road. So root for me to be on the road during the weekdays, Mikey, so that you can beat me. I'm kidding. Mike Figueredo is awesome. The Humanist Report is awesome. And we got to do some more segments together. I love collaborating with that guy, and we've collaborated on this issue a bunch, and I want to do that more. Yeah. All right. So some Democrats are ready to water down their own net neutrality bill. Damn it! Activists say efforts to compromise at this juncture would only weaken rules with broad bipartisan public support. Democrats continue to push their new net neutrality bill through Congress, but there's signs several members of the party are already eager to water down the proposal. Now, keep in mind, this thing is 3 pages. It's like, what the hell are you going to water down? The Save the Internet Act is 3 pages, and it basically says, hey, that net neutrality legislation we put on the books in 2015, we're going back to that. The repeal is bye-bye. That's it. That's the proposal. No bullshit, no gimmicks. We're going back to the net neutrality we had. End of story. And that's a good thing. That gives us net neutrality protections on the books. What's the biggest part about that protection? Title II designation for the internet. A Title II FCC classification gives it the telecommunications classification. It's a common carrier, meaning it has to flow like flowing water. When you designate something a Title I, which is what Ajit Pai's FCC, Trump's FCC, is doing, it means that the internet can be regulated and hyphened off the same way radio or TV can, because it's considered an information service. So that's the big thing here. So this 3-page proposal, which is a good act, just says, hey, we're going back to the protections. This includes Title II. End of story. So what are they probably willing to compromise on? They're probably willing to compromise on that Title II legislation, which means the net neutrality bill is worthless. So this article gets into it. Normally, compromise is a healthy part of the legislative process, but activists at consumer groups like Fight for the Future told Motherboard that at this juncture of the net neutrality fight, they're only likely to weaken the popular proposal. Fight for the Future is correct. So, And here's another thing they point out. Past Republican efforts at compromise on this subject have fallen well short. Lawmakers with close ties to AT&T, like Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, have introduced their own net neutrality bills in name only. Bill critics say they are intentionally filled with loopholes that serve just one function, preventing the passage of tougher, more popular protections. The Republicans put forth these compromised net neutrality bills, and again, that bill didn't include Title II. Why? Because without it, these big cable companies can still violate net neutrality laws. It's a useless bill. It's a fake bill. It's designed to make the consumers and the citizens think that net neutrality has been solved. That's what they are. They are fake bills against you, the people. Against our interests. So what are Democrats willing to compromise on? What do you want to... Hey, we're going back to the net neutrality we had. This whole repeal thing, it's over. We should compromise. On what? On what? This bill is overwhelmingly popular. Over 83% of people favor net neutrality. It has wide bipartisan support. What are we compromising on and why? Some of us get money from big cable and we don't want that to go away. Oh. Your donor's showing. Your donor's showing. All right, let's see what else is in here. All right, so here's a quote from a former FCC lawyer, Gigi Sohn. The American people have said in overwhelming bipartisan numbers that they want the 2015 Open Internet Order restored. That's the net neutrality we got on the books in 2015. So I am puzzled why anyone would want a bill that falls short of that. Yeah. Democrats willing to compromise? No. Don't be. This bill cannot be compromised. This bill reinstates net neutrality, which is important because we need to get net neutrality back to win the battle. And then winning the war, the metaphorical war for internet freedom, is municipal broadband all over the country. And no matter what happens with this bill, because keep in mind, it's got to get through the Senate. That's going to be a hard thing to get through. It's got to avoid a Trump veto, which is certainly not guaranteed. Trump will likely veto it. But no matter what happens, we got to continue fighting for municipal broadband all across the country. And I've been fighting for that in Pasadena. I just submitted a letter to my city urging them to join Next Century Cities, which helps cities and community build municipal broadband. And, I should have some updates on that really soon, I hope. And I know a lot of you guys are fighting in your community as well for municipal broadband, and that's freaking awesome. And hopefully we all start to see some success in this endeavor. So let me go to you guys, see what y'all are saying. And then we'll end the show. All right? All right. Over the Road Trucker, thank you for the super chat contribution. Donald Drumpf and the stressful DA stayed stuck in a world they never made, but not Tulsi, baby. She's too precious. Yeah. All right. I don't know what that means exactly, but that's yeah. C. Hind. All right. Thank you for that. Dan Gold, $2 for the Catch-22 reference a few weeks ago. Thank you very much, Dan Gold. I appreciate it. GOT Progressive South Carolina. Say hi to South Carolina for me. Say hi to Anderson. Say hi to Columbia. Say hi to Greenville. I got some family out there. Just got my new 3D printer. That's awesome. Can't wait to put it together. We'll be live streaming the process. Nothing political here. Just wanted to show some support for your awesome show. Thank you very much. Say hi to Lucy for me. Lucy, GOT Progressive South Carolina, says, hey, come over here. She'll listen. No, she did perk up. She looked up. You know, this cat has been trying to get Lucy's attention in the neighborhood. And Lucy doesn't give a shit. It's almost like, dude, Lucy, are you still a cat? This cat is like it's so obvious. Like this cat's meowing towards our apartment because she knows another cat isn't, or he or she, I don't know the cat's gender, knows another cat is in here. The only neighborhood cat I met in my complex is Chloe. Chloe's a girl. Chloe is a leopard print cat, really cool looking cat. And but I don't know if it's Chloe or if it's another cat. But this cat really wants Lucy's attention. Lucy, no, nothing. Lucy doesn't even like look up. Alfonso, Lucy's playing hard to get. I guess. I don't know what her deal is. I'm like, Lucy, like this is. Oh, it's a Pretenders. Okay, so Over the Road Truckers, that was a Pretenders reference, a Pretenders tune. That's cool. I'm not sure off the top of my head which Pretenders tune that is. But I like the Pretenders. I'm not fluent in all their catalog, obviously, but cool reference. I appreciate it. I wish Ron would start a talk like a Russian day. Like, I don't know if I want to do this for an entire day. I come out when it's necessary, when I need to recruit, more trolls for 2020, but that's all I do. Is Lucy a snob? Of course not. Michael, Ron, I saw your stand-up joke about your girlfriend being a better person than you, and it was very funny, my friend. Thank you very much, Michael. I did post some YouTube. I did post some stand-up on YouTube from some recent shows because we were absent last week, so I wanted to get some. More stand-up up there for you all. I hope you guys are checking it out. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and we are totally out of time, guys. Feels great to be back. I missed this so much. I missed you guys so much. Since we're back, I'm going to go get Lucy. She's going to say hey. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. Lucy, I know you're being summoned. There we go. Yeah. Hey guys, if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, become a patron. I was sleeping. Forgive what you can't level. Meow meow purr purr. Lucy. Yeah, she says hey. So yeah, if you know the drill. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you want to support the show on the sustainability end, please do consider doing so. Helps me build this show. Helps me get new equipment. Helps me stay on the air. Tour dates coming up. You know the drill, ronplacone.com. More dates are being announced by the day. But April, we're coming to Texas. Texas, get those tickets. We're coming at ya. Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. ronplacone.com for tickets. Graham Elwood and I are coming. And that's more of a weekend run, too, so we won't miss as many shows, which is great. We're doing a Thursday night, a Friday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So there you go. May, Salt Lake City and Boise. June, East Coast. East Coast, baby. We're coming to the East Coast. New York City, Boston, Mass, New Haven, Connecticut, Philadelphia, PA, Baltimore, D.C. Grab those tickets at ronplacone.com. Oh, in July 27th, Vegas, baby. We're coming back to Vegas. Tickets for that are available now. And I'll be doing a solo show May 1st in Indianapolis. And I'm doing a house show in Boulder Creek, California. If you want to attend that show, that's in April. That's April 19th. Drop me an email if you want to attend, and I'll get you situated there. But that's my first house show of 2019, and I'm very stoked. You guys are amazing. I've missed this. I've missed it. I don't like not getting my news on. I was just driving around the Gulf going, what the fuck's going on? Nobody's stream. I didn't have my stream. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm supposed to just read the news by myself? That sucks. And it's infinitely depressing. That's why this show exists. It's way better with a group of people to be like, I'm not crazy. This is propaganda, right? No, it is. It's propaganda. It's propaganda. Okay, it is propaganda. I'm not crazy to feel like this is all bullshit, right? I'm not crazy to think that this candidate is just a shill, right? I'm not crazy to think we have to do something very significant about healthcare, right? No, you're not alone. That's why we do this. Thanks for being part of it. You guys are awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your day or morning or, you know the drill. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. Peace.